Good morning, everybody.
If you are in your 60s, you very well may have 30 more years on your side. And if you are younger,
Kind of celebrating this
here
morning
is
with
the secret.
clients.
Be optimistic and continue to strive to forge your wealth for the years ahead.
Let's see. We talk about wealth climbing a wall of worry in my video that I made. There it is.
Iris. Wealth climbs a wall of worry. Look, confidence and character were essential to my dad.
So 2020, wealth has certainly climbed this wall of worry, and congratulations and welcome aboard new clients that have come on just as early as, well, October. And now we're just at the first part of November, but elections, do we want to say it's past? We're looking at January, we're looking at December, but folks, this is the environment that calls for yours truly, a fiduciary, to be politically agnostic. Promise that what I'm looking at in this environment not only is going to be okay, but according to history is going to look, I think, very good, at least into the end of the year. And then crawling, rather pushing into 2021. I've been saying that we're pushing our way into a bull market. So let that sink in. The news today on the docket, we're looking very much at good news on the horizon. 2021, can you see it? Can you start to feel the good news now? So take a look at what I was trying to tell folks back in March, and I refined this message. I've got to add a new message. You know, I talk about where I cut my teeth on the Great Recession, and now I've updated my credentials and my resume, my stories that I've carried clients through, and we're still in the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, but take a hard look at how you're doing and how you felt. I have to let client results speak for themselves, but you know what? Nobody but myself gets to impress upon you the story that I've carried clients through. So I'm telling it again. I was live on Facebook March 19th. And just before that, we had the second worst day on the Dow Jones in history, the worst single day. Imagine trying to tell clients to be patient and wait, that hope is on the horizon. The next thing that I said was, this too shall pass. And on March 24th, just after I was there sharing this message, I said, wait, nobody's jumping ship. And you know what, folks? According to my measurements and clients, we didn't jump ship. We stayed with strategies. We actually poured money onto this green monster that was looking at us. And on March 24th, Dow Jones posts its fourth best day in US history. Are you following along with my message of how wealth climbs this wall of worry? I really do love it. My practice, my portfolios, my clients, we train you for this type of moment. So March 12th, 2020 began the quickest path to a bear market, not the best news to share. And in hindsight, that should feel pretty scary. It was like we were looking at this ledge and going, whoa, this is very unknown, unprecedented. But I said it's a crisis, and the ingredients are all there for this crisis. Where are we today? Well, fast forward. Today, I'm using this same CNN Fear and Greed Index. There's real data points in here. You can read about them, market momentum, call options, volatility, stuff that doesn't really get us excited when we read it in a textbook, but pretty easy gauge to follow. Just 1 week, we were at this extreme fear point where Peter starts going, maybe this is the point where we want to start buying. And when we start climbing this wall, I think we're feeling okay up here. If we get too greedy, then we start to question how good things really are. Great example, euphoria. Merry Christmas, America. Never bet against America. Pfizer, another company, on board, but 90% efficacy. Big deal. Big number. Not going to be there tomorrow. We're not going to be seeing a shot in the arm just yet, but the market's got a shot in the arm today. What about elections? Gosh, there's a lot of news, and that's why I'm sending this message out to you. Love it. Politically agnostic, even better than what investors could hope for. I promise, regardless if your quote unquote candidate wins or won, when you have balance, when this says split, we're talking balance. House, Senate, President, when we have a balanced representation, the markets historically do well. So take a look at this, get the context of what we're measuring. But when we go back to 1950 and we look at the performance of the annual return, the average, we actually do very well. I sent a tweet out this morning. Actually, it was last night, right? We were looking at more of a definitive victory with the presidency coming up. But we have this split. I said, thrusters on. Let's run to the end of the year. And here's another picture of why I think we want to look at the end of the year. By the way, I've intentionally asked you to be distracted without calling attention to her, but this is Marshmallow. I sent a picture of her out on Facebook prior. This is her dressed as a cow for Halloween. She's a senior dog we brought into the house about 2 months ago. So, and Leo, I don't want him to be jealous. Here he is. They both have a place in the practice here. So again, if you want to take a look at what's going on in this environment, the other chart to take a look at is thrusters on. Historically, yes. November can be a great year. Election years, past 10 years after the election. Here's how markets perform in November. This means positive. And in December, on average, markets can be positive. We're talking about the S&P 500. That's kind of our go-to market index when we talk about these types of historical numbers. It measures 500 US companies. But folks, congratulations, here we are. Does not mean that we're not going to see volatility. Volatility is always persistent, but volatility does not equate to recession or bull market. Volatility is the norm. Even last year, 2019, and folks, I think somehow we made it. I think we peg a positive number on the year. This is volatility where we were. We started at peak greed and we fell to a very low metric. 2019 though, if you follow this is like an EKG rhythm for the markets. And this is volatility. Volatility starts with a V, down, up, down, way up, down, up before the end of the year. 2019, was it positive or negative on the S&P 500? Stop and think about that. It was way up. According to historical numbers, it was in the double digits in 2019. Very great year. And even I was skeptical of what 2020 might bring, but when you introduced a massive crisis, something we hadn't seen before, but the same ingredients of crises in the past, we had odds in our side when we were throwing money in. And I felt like it was going to pay investors in the long run. And I still think that long runway is in front of us. So congratulations. If you're brand new to our practice, welcome aboard again. But pay attention to these things and pass this message on. I can promise you that there are plenty of folks and investors that don't have this type of experience and this type of communication level that we've been able to deliver throughout the crises. So November 9th, I think we're going to go in feeling a lot better than how we were feeling maybe in October. I think we're going to see COVID-19 continue to be a problem. Please be respectful, be kind, follow the requests of those who are in charge and saying, hey, let's be in this and beat it together. But stay optimistic, pass the optimism along to a friend, give them a nudge. You do that by sharing this, liking it. You can even share in a private message so nobody else knows you're sending this out, but you can send or share by message to a friend who's been maybe a bit down and needs a reason to become optimistic. So folks, thanks again. I love sharing these messages with you. Even better to share them when we get to point to results and say, wow, this kind of stuff in 2020 so far has worked. Carry on.